Hi everybody, Zarko Jokic here from the MFAA. I work in New South Wales as the New South Wales Business Development Manager. I also look after the Australian Capital Territory, so big shout out to all our members in Canberra.
Hi guys, George Dibb here from Amfin. I'm the Managing Director of essentially asset finance brokerage for mortgage brokers. We operate all over the country. We employ over 15 people, and our main goal is to obviously help mortgage brokers and our referral partners through this difficult time.
Excellent. So basis on today was George and I were talking about what we're seeing in our worlds, and we thought we'd get the message out on some things that are bouncing around our head. On the call today, we've got our host as well, and our host is going to be throwing some questions to us. So I'll throw back to the host. What's our first question today?
Thank you. So what can brokers be doing right now?
Yeah, that's a really important question. I think a lot of people are wondering what will happen today that's going to influence tomorrow, that's going to influence the next day. One of the things that is beautiful about mortgage broking, and one thing that hasn't changed despite COVID-19, is that the biggest asset you have in your business is your database. So one thing I would really recommend you take the option of doing, if you haven't already done so, don't wait for your clients and your people in your database to reach out to you. Reach out to them. Be proactive. Think about what segment in your business do they best fit into, and reach out and offer some value in that segment. Even if that value is a reassuring message about what's going on in terms of government assistance, even if it's a reassuring message in what you're seeing in terms of property prices, whatever the case may be, they genuinely want to hear from you because you are a trusted advisor. So if you haven't already done so, this is a perfect time to segment your database. Think about the people in your database. 4 segments I'd consider you to look at, if you haven't already done so, is everyone in your database who is an investor, everyone in your database who is self-employed, everyone in your database who is an owner-occupier sitting on that property for 5 years or more, all the households with 2 or more cars. These are people I would be reaching out to with a valued message that's pertinent to today. And the sooner you start making contact with them, whether it's email, whether it's phone call, whether it's text, the better, because they're going to be looking for answers. Now, you don't have all the answers, no one does, but you can become that port in a storm. You can become that person who could be their knight in shining armor, their guardian angel, as it were, someone they can really rely on to actually make sense of the absolutely unprecedented world we're currently living through. Your thoughts, George?
Look, over and above that, you said it perfectly. The most important thing is that you have to stay positive. You know?
Yeah.
I think the most important thing in a situation like this is that if you let everything get to you, this is the time that you really need to be able to stand up for yourself, for your family, and also the people that you work for, and that's your client. Now, we always talk about diversification, and diversification, has so many different forms, and I genuinely believe, now more than ever, that segmentation of your database is absolutely essential, because I guarantee you, the person who's a mum and dad who are looking after their kids that potentially one of them has been laid off is looking for some sort of funding to help them through this time. Then you have your business client who's looking for a business loan, to be able to assist them through this time. Because realistically, even around some of this stuff that the government is doing around stimulus, it's still hard to navigate. So you need to be able to see what options that you have available, or what options your clients have, and you're the best person to be able to help them. Now, we understand that you don't understand everything. However, don't just, think of people like myself and other people who are there as referral sources as just places for transactions. Call us and we'll help you through it. We really understand that you probably want to do it yourself. You want to be able to help your client, but you also want to help yourself and keep the income in your business. We get that. If we can help you, we want to help you. And I guess that's the most important thing that you take out of this. Now, as Zarko said, one of the key things that our guys are doing in this business is we're remaining active. And if we sit here and we wait for the phone to ring, nothing will happen. We've, even from a perspective of us, our client base is essentially the mortgage broker. We've looked at everyone from our most active broker all the way through to our most dormant broker. and we're calling everyone. And it's absolutely amazing to see how many people have a deal for us. You know, how many people are still there that, you know, need a source of funding. So call people on your database. You know, the thing is they want to hear from you. They want to be able to know that there's someone there that cares about them, as Zarko said. Because in this time, it's really important to know that you've got someone else that you can talk to. You know, even if, you know, as a mortgage broker, if you have a friend that's a mortgage broker that you think might be going through some trouble, you know, through some stress, call them. You know, see if they're okay. Because I guarantee you they need you. You know, it's just one of those things where humanity really needs to prevail in this. Obviously, look after yourself as far as your business is concerned. Start planning for your future. Start looking at what you can do in the next 3 months that's going to help you survive through it. And I guarantee you that once this is all over, if you've taken those necessary steps of being active, you'll come through it.
So what do brokers need to know about asset write-off?
Look, the asset write-off is obviously up to $150,000. Now, the one thing that I would implore brokers to do is to speak to someone that has an accounting background that absolutely understands this and can navigate through it. Because one of the things that I'll just mention as a over and above highlight, you know, it's $150,000. However, that doesn't mean go out and buy a $150,000 car, right? Because a $150,000 car isn't going to get you that $150,000 write-off. You can claim up to the depreciation value, which is $57,581. So just be careful around that stuff, and the advice that you also give to your clients in that, don't tell them that, hey, you know, yes, go buy a $150,000 car and yes, you'll get the full $150,000. No, that's incorrect. You know, make sure that you are giving them advice that helps them. And look, as a broker, as, you know, as someone that's trying to help their client, make sure that they're buying stuff that is essential, that is absolutely going to help them make a living and not put them in further debt. The other thing to take into consideration is that it is $150,000. So if you are buying a truck, make sure the end value is under 150. So not 165, 180, and then throw a deposit in. It has to be at that 150 mark. And like I said, most importantly, have a conversation with your accountant about how this all works, or go onto the many government-related sites or even some of the forums that are out there to give you more information about this. Because the last thing you want in a time of uncertainty is to give the wrong advice to your clients.
Great points that you make there, George. One of the big opportunities that the stimulus package is providing is for you to build your ecosystem as a broker. So if you think about who do you need to help your clients with this, there's going to be a list of people you're going to come up with. So your accountant network is going to be crucial in you partnering with your accounting network and adding value to your clients, actually sitting down with them and sharing with them how this works. Now, that could be face-to-face in terms of the Zoom component. It could be in a meeting with social distancing if you've got a safe office, or it could be a video you record and you send out to your database. So if you haven't already done so, reach out to your accounting partners and say, I've got clients who need your help to make sense of this stimulus package. Would you like to help me help these people? And in turn, they're going to look to you for further support. Because the beautiful thing about any crisis, it will end. It will not go forever. And there will be an ongoing need for these professionals that you partner with today. People will remember who helped them through these uncertain terms. That I know for sure.
No, I could not agree more. And look, like I said, and one of the things that I implore you to do, especially as a broker, is if you don't know the answer, don't make one up. You know, speak to someone, you know, call us, call the accountant, call someone that has more information or more understanding around commercial and asset. Just like Zarko said, you can be the knight in shining armor in this whole, you know, situation, even if you're not just trying to sell a transaction. If you're just trying to navigate your client through this period, that's gold. I genuinely believe that's gold.
And where to from here?
So something I know for sure is that there will be an end to this crisis. And at the end of this crisis, there's three things people are going to be doing. They're going to be resetting, they're going to be restarting, and they're going to be rebuilding. And all of those three things need one thing: credit. Finance is going to fuel the rebuild. It's going to fuel the reset, and it's going to fuel the restart. Now, the beautiful thing is there are some industries that won't actually slow to a grinding halt. So logistics will continue. Transport will continue. Construction to a certain degree will continue. However, there will be some industries that have to start from scratch, and they'll all be looking to you for guidance and support. Now, when I say you, they're looking to a trusted advisor in the world of finance. Now, that can be you or it can be someone else. That's really going to be up to you. So what I really recommend you do is start to work on what is your plan for saying we are starting to get back to normal and now we're back to open for business. We are back to full steam ahead. Start to plan that now. You want to go out with some messages now that you can help them in a certain way, but maybe your range of offering isn't as extensive based on lender movements, but you want to have a plan on what you want to have coming from your business as the message to say, we're back in business, let's go. George, your thoughts?
Look, I think one of the things that this should teach people from all industries of life, whether it's brokers or business owners, whatever it may be, is always be uncomfortable. And what I mean by that is never, ever be comfortable in the situation that you're in. I think this is one of those situations that teaches you that. You know, preparation is key, whether it's for a rainy day, whether it's for times that are absolutely booming. It's absolutely essential to have a business plan in place and multiple contingency plans as a result of that business plan as well. You know, I think one of the things that we've learned is that, you know, and look, if I were to say anything, mortgage brokers are probably the ones that have been affected the most out of anybody as far as the last couple of years. It's been the continuous barrage of stuff that's happened to them. You know, one thing is I would say is just be prepared for the future. If you haven't got a business plan, you have to have one. If you haven't got cash flow forecasts for the next 12 months, you have to have your cash flow forecast. Do one that's, you know, in an optimal environment, and do one that's also in an environment that isn't. You know, make sure that you have both of those scenarios and look at them every day. And you, as I said about that uncomfortability, you have to be uncomfortable. When this is all over, don't just sit back and think that business is going to come to you. You have to look for it. You have to do the old school thing and pick up the phone and call people. You know, it's just, this is probably one of the positives that comes out of this is that we have to now pick up the phone. You have to call people. You have to say, hey, I need business. I want something. Please help me. You know, what is it that I can do for you? You know, where before, when things are good and when, you know, the market is pumping, we just sit there and think that it's going to come through to us through, you know, digital marketing, through all that stuff. But it just goes to show that in times like this, people need people. Regardless of how strong your technology is, you need people. You want to hear from that other person at the other end of the phone. It's extremely important that in times that are good, remain uncomfortable, push yourself as hard as you possibly can so that you can then see yourself through periods like this.
I agree. It's going to be a rewarding time for the person who's proactive. And that's in our control. A lot of things aren't in our control, but what we do as an individual running a business is definitely in our control. Now, as a final point, I just want to say we are both open for business, George and I. If you need to talk with us about what's going on in your head, if you need to talk with us about how you're feeling about things, our lines of communication are open. We're happy to help you share what is happening each day. Just reach out. We'd be happy to chat.
Absolutely. Look, my phone's on. It'll be on. Before this, after this, I want everybody to know that me personally and the team at Amfin, we want to take your call. And like I said, even if it's just to say hello, if you just want someone to complain to, we're here.